We're playing.
Yeah, I can't wait to play with Gax again. It's been like a month.
I would rather just play Indy today. I was like, you can have my character sheet. I will take yours.
I miss playing Indy. It's been a week.
Well, welcome everyone to our Saturday night D&D session. We have a mostly full house. One of our players is going to join us a bit later, hopefully. But during this session, we follow the exploits of Team Soteria, the Tribor branch of Acquisitions Incorporated, and they sort of go around the Desert Valley solving people's problems for money. Those job requests are handed out by HQ, and they're currently on one, or on a string of ones. They set out from Tribor a couple of weeks ago. They went to Yartar and helped them with a giant problem, and then went to Golden Fields and helped them solve an issue with their water supply. They fought giants, they fought dragons, and now they just entered the town of Amphail, the suburbs, if you will, of Waterdeep. A mere 3 days horse ride from Waterdeep along the Long Road. Amphail is known for raising very nice horses. Amphail Greys and Black Chargers, specifically. And due to its close proximity to Waterdeep, it also has an unusually large number of inns and taverns for a town of its size. It only has about 500 people that live there permanently, though. And I believe you guys stopped by the Staghorn Flagon, which is the largest inn in town. And you discover that you did, in fact, have a reservation there as Acquisitions Incorporated, much like your other towns you've been in. And you were on your way to see I forgot the title, essentially the mayor of the town, but he's got a special title, and I will find it in a sec. Lord Warder, and I had to do a quick adjustment because Lord Warder Brighton Marthane.
Yeah. Like Evelyn Marthane?
Yes. Those of you who are followers of Lathander, you know who Evelyn Marthane is because she's a very famous paladin, and you also know she has a brother who is, and she's a noble. You know she's a noble from Amphail, and her family sort of runs the town, and so you're there to see him, or you're on your way to see him. I believe that's where we stopped. Let me know if I missed anything.
No, that was it.
How many days travel was it again?
It was about 1.5 days from Golden Fields to Amphail. Because you look on the map.
In that time, Nat would have resummoned.
Sorry, I was dumb.
Oh, that's Golden Fields.
I presume you would have resummoned Ukman.
Ugh. Sorry.
I think that's right. What was it? Yeah, 1.5 days, I think. 1.52, give or take, around there. All right. Yeah, because it's about the same distance from Amphail to Golden Fields as it is from Tribor to Yartar. All right. And so you resummoned Ukman. Did anyone else do anything along the way that I should know about?
No.
Oh, when you resummoned Ukman, Nat, something happened.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Seriously?
When you resummoned Ukman, your size increased to large for 1 hour.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Is it... Question. When you resummon Ukman, is it ritually, or is it like you cast the spell?
It takes spell. Paladins can't cast ritually.
It takes 10 minutes to do it,
But I
though.
always think they can.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be a full spellcaster to do ritual spells.
Yeah, half spellcaster.
Okay.
So now I'm large and I can't ride with it.
But that also means that you theoretically could get that intelligence check out of Lake for that day of travel.
I suppose might as well just do it now. As something weird happens to me.
Yeah. I'll do Evelyn. Do a religion check as well.
Me?
Yes.
Evelyn?
Not Evelyn. Aveline, sorry.
I will play Evelyn. I will absolutely blow that
Evelyn.
character sheet.
Can you do the accent though? That is a requirement.
Oh gosh, the southern accent?
Mm-hmm.
Only if I say Taylor from North Carolina first, and then I can kind of slip into one. But other than that, not so much.
I think that's too strong.
Yeah, but it's the only way I can get into one. I'm doing religion. I forgot.
Yes.
Is that first or?
I know you do yours, and this is because
Nope,
you've seen.
no idea.
Yeah, you've seen. You've seen Nat try to cast spells and something goes awry, or there's a side effect whenever they have cast spells multiple times, and you're doubting more and more that they're actually blessed by Lathander in a super special way, and something is wrong with how they're casting their spells. So that's what the religion check was for. But
that was a great roll.
you're unable to figure it out. Okay.
Yes, 16 minus 1.
Nat, you have been struggling to recall anything in your past that could have
That'd be a little understatement.
that you could have been involved in, done, been in the same area of something that's something, maybe a powerful magic artifact that may have influenced your spell casting, or a curse that was laid upon you, or something like that. And you've been thinking about this constantly, and the only thing you can really think of is that you were a bit of a problem child at the Spires of the Morning, and you often, and as a fox slash cat, you were very curious, and you often got into places you weren't supposed to go. And one of those times you snuck into like a storage room of the spires, and you were looking in boxes and stuff like that. And in one of them, you found this sort of old, very old stone-looking statuette that appeared to be like of an elven figure, and it had like these vines growing in cracks around it. And while handling it, you broke off a piece of it. And you hurriedly put it back in the box where it was and ran away. And thought nothing of it. But that's the only thing you can really think of that didn't have to do with Lathander. You don't think that you interacted with in all your years.
All right. I'll be thinking about that. The statue's like, oh yeah, I did that as a little kid. I mean, I don't think there's really any kind of action they can take at the moment. So I guess they're just going to be thinking about it to themselves for now.
Yep. Okay. This is all taking place before you guys reached Amphail, so we're going back in time a little bit. I do know that is Rex is here. Okay, great. So we've gone. Hello, Rex. We've gone back in time a little bit, and we're on the road from Golden Fields to Amphail. We're doing some stuff. You saw Nat summon Ukman and become a large creature for an hour before shrinking back down. Something is definitely affecting their spell casting. You're sure of it, but you don't know exactly what. But I also believe that along this during this time, you guys wanted to speak with a certain partial corpse you had.
I'm living a cat. Sorry, I got distracted.
Do you want a head from out of the bag? Still got that.
Rex, do you want to talk to the stupid head that's in the bag?
The head is a librarian?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys recall that this was a high elf librarian that was one of the two that was trying to steal the holy text of Helm from the All-Faith Chapel in Triborn, and her name was Thorastra, which is I believe Speak with Dead affords you 5 questions.
Oh.
It does, except is this on our way over to Amphail for what I don't currently have?
What's your favorite color?
Well, I'm assuming you can prep for it and then unprepare it.
I mean, if this is all the way over, if we're in Amphail, that I
Yeah, we're going back in time a little bit.
then sure. If I was told that we were going to do this, then I would have prepared the spell.
All right. So you get out this head. There is some air inside the bag. It's not a lot. So there is still some decay of the head. It doesn't look great, but it's still in better shape than it would be if it was outside in the elements, so to speak. So it has begun to smell and decay, but there are no maggots or flies or anything like that, though if you keep it out for long enough, the smell of decay will probably attract some of those creatures.
Yeah.
Real quick question: so after we use this, can you use it again on this head?
I think it's just once.
Correct.
Wondering if I can get rid of this thing after. Here's your head. You have fun. I also take out a dead seagull. Not really sure why this is here, but okay.
It was
I killed that seagull.
the previous tabaxi owner of the bag, like a standard cat, kept things in there that that it wanted for
I
later
guiding bolted that
as
seagull to
treats.
death behind Lathander's temple. It was incredible.
Man, that's been a while.
There was an impromptu beach session where you guys went to like the worst part of the beach on Waterdeep. It was called like
No, we went to the only beach I knew of.
yeah, it was like the worst one. What was it called? It was called the Mud Flats, and you went there.
And I
Um,
now
You
have
can
20
tell the mud flats is not a
seagull.
good beach spot.
or a fish or something.
And yeah, you tried to catch seagulls and fish, and yeah, it was. Then there was the hapless DM trying to move the story along.
Because you didn't want us going to the beach.
Well, you were like, let's all wait until everyone's here to go to the beach. Just kidding, let's go now.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what spell I'm supposed to be preparing.
Speak with Dead is a 3rd level spell.
My brain is fried, y'all.
Yeah.
I also take out this chainmail. Oh, I forgot I put this.
And there's a lot of stuff in that bag. You guys should clean it out more often.
Oh, we got some potions of resistance in here. That would have been nice against a dragon.
We
It
did?
was fine.
You're the hordes person. You should know this.
I don't feel comfortable using items in here.
For the record, I would argue that you're the cartographer and you should know our way around.
I do. I just don't say it.
We also have filters of love.
I think there should only be 1 potion of resistance.
Wait, when did we
Should
get
I,
those?
It says 2. Should I get rid of 1?
Yeah, it should be only 1. You got those when you killed the succubus, and you guys never used them, never brought it up again. It's been in the bag for forever.
2 filters of love? No?
Yeah, they've been there. You guys fought a succubus when you were in the Undermountain, where you found Esvela's brother. The life force sucked at him by the succubus. That was amongst the loot. 2 filters of love, as well as Caxier's personal item.
I didn't even know that. That's good to know.
I mean, you can.
We did do that.
You guys, yeah,
We got some of the weird fruit.
yeah. The weird fruit like glows, and it's the light has dimmed as it sort of ripens away from the branch.
Okay, I'm gonna go do that thing I said in this card right now.
Okay, so I think they were waiting for everyone to be here so you guys can discuss what questions you want to ask its head.
Because I think it's mostly up to Rex, man.
So I think the questions we should ask should probably be like, where did you come from? Like,
Are they compelled to tell the truth?
They are not.
mm.
And
Can
do
we cast like friendship on it? Can we give it the
There is no
can we give
creature
it the-
to cast friendship on because you're speaking with something that is dead.
Can we give it the filter of love?
I will look at what filter of love says because I'm pretty sure it's a creature. But
I put the romance and necromancy.
the next time you see a creature, it is a corpse, so it's not a creature.
Damn. Wait,
Yeah.
no.
I
It's the next
thought
time-
like you guys were gonna use this on, like the filter on, like put it in someone's drink or something or poison them, so you'd be friends with them. Like it would have helped.
But hold on. So the filter of love. The description say the next creature you see,
Yes,
so it can see us, right?
it's not a creature though. You're speaking to a head.
Okay, I was just trying to. Okay.
Yes. So if how the filter of love works, for those who don't want to look it up, basically you drink it, and when the very next creature you see within 10 minutes, that's creature, so it could literally be a dragon or something. You become charmed by it for 1 hour, and if it's of a species and gender you are normally attracted to, you regard it as your true love for an hour. So it could.
Okay.
Well, it can't. A decaying head can't drink something.
That's true.
And it has no. It can't see either.
Doesn't it just like become a spirit anyways? It's not like we're really doing anything with the head.
Yeah, it just says.
Just like kind of summon its spirit out
Yeah,
of it.
it will kind of like if you want to if you want to view it that way, because it says it doesn't return the creature's soul to its body, only its animating spirit. So basically, its mouth will move and answer questions, and it'll speak if it has vocal cords, I guess. Hopefully, you went below those on the neckline there, Cax. It'll speak in the same voice. Otherwise, it'll be an otherworldly one because magic. But yeah, that's how the spell works. There's no way to force the creature. I mean, not the creature, but the corpse to answer you truthfully. But that doesn't mean you can't ask it 5 questions. So, insight checks are probably not going to be great. You can try them, but it'll be very difficult because there's no body language to see. It's all because it's a head. But you can still try and discern truth from what it says based on tone and whatnot.
Okay.
So if there's any questions you guys want to ask Thrastra, or the corpse of Thrastra, let me know. And if there's not, we'll just go right to Amphail.
So the spell was cast.
Yes.
So this is a person that we defeated. How? I think what the best question would be to ask. If I wanted to get in touch with the librarians, how would I do that?
Oh, that's not what I was looking for. Okay, so when you ask it,
I've been asked to. I've been recruited, or they've attempted to recruit me in the past.
yes. So when you ask it a question, you hear like a you hear like a screaming, but it's like from far away, and then it comes like up to the forefront of, so it's kind of like a siren, but it's a woman screaming, and it's a person screaming in agony, and then there's sort of when it reaches like its peak in its crescendo. No, that's not right. Or it is during a crescendo, but I haven't played music in a while, guys. I'm sorry. But when it sort of reaches its peak in volume, then it sort of like mumbles out the words or with some difficulty. You don't find librarians, they find you.
Oh, that's not cool.
Good.
Say, do you know what their next target is?
So how she would respond to this is she says, she would say to this, no. Yes, you can. She says, no, we work in cells. I was tasked with try more.
You guys think
I'm
of
an
anything
insight.
helpful they might be able to tell us?
So she's been telling the truth so far, Cax.
I think she's lying.
Yeah.
You how I play insight for low rolls is you think that they're being the most truthful they have ever been. It's only the high roll that where you take the lie if there is one.
Okay, insight check. How'd I do?
That's a low for a rogue. That's a pretty low insight check there.
Hey, don't ask
Rogue
me.
bard too. What?
My wisdom is low.
All right. You have 3 more questions. Just to make sure you don't waste any. This is what you guys know about librarians. This is what I think Vera told you a lot about them. She said their leader is a man called Gnosis, and they're looking to complete the Metatext, which is a book penned by Denir, scribe of the God of Knowledge Agma, and it is essentially how to become a god 101. So if you read the full thing, you will ascend to godhood, essentially. As to the motivations behind that, why he wants to do that. Why he has all these followers, these librarians following him, I'm not sure, but you do know that they are ruthless and that they're willing to do whatever it takes to find a fragment of the metatext. And because they place such high value on the metatext, the metatext is sort of hidden in existing works of literature. So it's someone might be divinely inspired by De Niro or not even realize it, but they will write a portion of the metatext. How they're able to discern what the metatext is and isn't, you also don't know. And what else would be important for you guys to know? And I think that's it. As far as what you know versus don't know. And you don't know how close they are to completing it. You don't know where Gnosis is. You do know they operate in cells. So it'd be very difficult to find another one. Or Thrasher probably won't know. And yeah.
If my mic suddenly sounds swallowed, it's because the cat's eating it.
Oh, fun. You're asking the corpse of the partial corpse of Thrastra, the librarian. So about the librarians, you have 3 questions left. The first question was how to find the librarians, and the second question was, do you know where the librarians are heading next? The answers were
Not useful.
Yeah, not useful to say the least. Basically, they operate in cells, is the information you discovered, so you don't know where they're heading next, or rather Thrasher doesn't know. So, by that, you also don't know. But, yeah, as you have surmised already, they seem to have a penchant for going after holy texts. And so that might be a good place to start. But, yes, you still have 3 questions left.
Okay.
Ooh, I have a question. Ooh, I have a question. I have one.
Yep.
How do librarians get the books undetected?
Ah.
She would respond to that, methods vary. We're given a lot of leeway in how we acquire literature that contains the metatext. The most important thing is that we can get it. Some prefer a more direct approach. Others a subtle one. As for how a person might acquire a book undetected, well, I wasn't really fond of the subtle way to accomplish my goal.
What was your subtle way? Oh, no.
Wait, no, don't.
No, you don't.
No,
You can discuss
I
it.
was thinking.
You can discuss it, but that doesn't count. You can discuss it before.
Yeah, I just had a panic attack as soon as they said that.
Yeah. Subtle ways, Indy, would be like the invisible person getting it, masquerading as a member of the Green Enclave, mind controlling a priest to bring it to them, those sort of things. The more direct ways would be burning down a library, what Thrastra and her accomplice tried to do, just going there and taking it.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Now, granted, they didn't expect anyone to be there or see them do it, But they weren't using spells to disguise themselves or anything like that.
Yeah.
You have 2 more questions. So.
Okay.
And you know she's speaking to you through like a great pain, and there's strain in her voice.
Well, yeah, it's hard to speak if you have no lungs.
Do we
It
think
doesn't actually matter for the spell.
Religion
Is it-
check.
Okay.
Holy people. People have some connection to the
I
divine.
cast the spell.
Yeah,
Can I make it?
you can because you know a lot about this stuff because you're a very smart boy. Okay, Nat. Let's see what Rex gets. Okay, Rex. Rex and Nat both know this. Okay,
Good
so
job, Rap.
basically, there are ways to get into the afterlife. There's a number of ways how the afterlife works and like that. If you dedicate yourself to a god, and you don't have any regrets when you die. Actually, I'll just give what Nat knows. This is what Nat knows because 16 is okay, but 30 is great. Okay, so when you dedicate yourself to a god, when you die, you're sort of ushered into their place in the celestial realm in the afterlife, and you chill with them, and it's a grand old time. If you don't believe in a god at all, you are then judged by Kellamvor, and after that you're sent to either the wall or what's it called? The Shadowfell. And then if you blaspheme against the gods, you are sent to hell. And of all those places, the one that inspires the most pain would be the 9 layers of hell. So this is probably why she's speaking to you with such a strain. Whatever they're doing is considered blasphemy by the gods. So that's what you get. Nat. And Rex. You get a lot of the same, we get more details. The wall is basically, as it implies, it's just a giant wall filled with the souls of non-believers, where their faces sort of become the bricks, so to speak, of the wall, and they're there for all eternity, and it's very boring and lame to be stuck in a wall. The Shadowfell, there's no emotion in there. The Raven Queen holds sway. And she's sort of a mysterious entity slash like kind of god of death, but doesn't have the same control over it like Kellamvor does. And that's what you get.
So this person's clearly gone to the 9 hells. Whatever they've been up to has been a blasphemy.
Isn't trying to become a god blasphemy in the highest?
Yeah, but it's been done before.
Yeah, Rex, you would also know it has been done before. In fact, Kellamvor, the god of death, now was once a man. Not a lot, but some of the gods were, in fact. I can't remember all of them. I know Kellamvor for a fact was. Mystra was, the current Mystra, was once a woman. So there are stories of gods becoming, or people becoming gods. That would be like, yeah, she is, but that's like out of character knowledge. A lot of people don't know that because it happened so long ago, and it wouldn't really be a religion check. Yes. It happened before like humans were a thing, so Rex probably wouldn't know it. But yeah, I think, yeah, whatever they're doing, there's something more than that's going on that they're doing beyond just becoming a god, or Gnosis becoming a god.
I don't know about Tabaxi now. The human that has failed their intelligence check and has no idea. So,
Oh, Evelyn is making a character for Onyx the cat.
Yay!
Onyx is going to play a Drinkway the Drunken Master monk, Tabaxi monk.
I was playing a monk in a one shot yesterday. So much fun.
do we think that she would know how close they are leaving the Meditex? Like, could that be it?
You aren't sure. She might not. She has mentioned that they operate in cells. She doesn't seem to know what's going on with the rest of the organization, so to speak.
Maybe we should just ask when the last time she saw. Pray say the G is silent. I can't remember. The Gnosis, this Gnosis person, and where he was. Maybe see if we can pick up leads from that.
Yeah, you can definitely ask her that. Is that something everyone's okay with?
Sure.
Is that 2 questions?
You just when's the last time you saw Gnosis?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
She would say, the day, the last time she saw him, so that'd be in person. She would say, the glorious day is when he revealed himself to the other scholars at the font of knowledge and showed them what fools they were for believing that their gods were sufficient.
You got a date?
Let's see when that happened. Vera mentioned this to you. You weren't here, Nat, then. She mentioned the party when you were in Waterdeep a long time ago, because her primary reason for going there, if you recall, was to find more information about the librarians and Gnosis. And they brought that up. I forgot what I said back then, because I made up in the spur of the moment, but I would say probably 3 years ago.
That's not
Oh,
good.
wow.
That's not good. Much for us.
Is what Vera said at the time. So this is not the person. It's Thrastra answering. This is what Vera said. When this event occurred. All right. So one more question, and she has been telling the truth so far. Cax here.
When I'm asking the group before I ask this question, if this is an alright question to ask. I want to ask. I'm thinking of asking when you get a text. How do you contact the librarians, or like how do you let them know you have it? What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Alright, I'll ask that.
Um,
What do you do when you how do you let the guild, as it were, know when you get it?
she would say, we use a sending spell.
Oh, a sending spell on Gnosis?
No. Sorry. She would say, we
Probably
use.
say nothing.
That'd be another question. So she would elaborate a little further. I don't want you to have a wasted question, so to speak. So she would say, there's she would say, there is a cell in charge of communication. We send them, and they send Gnosis.
Oh, that was our last question. But now we know if we ever try to figure out how to figure out where these people in charge of the sending, you know? Because then we can figure out what it is.
And once sort of she answers all the 5 questions, it sounds almost like there's a fight going on, and she's being dragged away because she's screaming, "No, I don't want to go back, no!" And that voice sort of like, the no sort of carries and then eventually dies out.
Oh man.
Oh, also, Rex, if you're sent to hell, generally speaking, if a devil lord of a lord of hell does not take an interest in your soul specifically, or you're not beholden to one, you are sent to, I forgot all the realms of hell, but there's one that's responsible for turning souls into. There's one responsible for turning souls into coins, or tokens, and these are used to power all the machines of hell. And it does so by burning away your soul. So it's super good fun times, and that's probably what she's experiencing right now.
Thing to do with your life, your soul.
Well, now we are down ahead.
Yeah. I'll just say the head, after you sort of use the spell, just begins to decay rapidly and turns into mush.
Oh, good. That gives me that saves me the trouble.
That way you can just like...
just gotta like dump it off the
Yeah, just throw it out. Not have to worry about it. In my other game, when something like this happened, someone tried to eat the mush. That was great.
Someone tried to eat the mush?
Yes.
I keep the mush away from Indy.
In my Thursday game, someone ate a corpse, and someone like a hand of a corpse, and then someone also ate a mind flayer brain. So I don't know why.
Why?
I mean, are they lizard folk?
No, it was a human. The human got a vision of the mind flayer. The mind flayer was like taunting them, and he was like giving him a vision of how the mind flayer was going to kill him and eat his brain because it was a wizard. And he was like, "As my revenge, I'll eat your brain instead." After they killed him.
I can appreciate a bit of irony.
Was that Jesse?
No, that was Levi, which I was surprised by because he's usually the more straight laced one. Jesse was the one that tried to eat the hand, the decaying hand.
Okay, that I understand. Levi though. Really? Really?
Yeah, it was. And now he's getting visions from Elder God, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, it's a different game.
I could use some visions right now to figure out what's going on now.
Well, if you find a mind flayer and eat their brain, mayhaps you'll get some not so divine insight from a terrible and ancient being, who might also be a planet.
Aren't I already in that?
Okay, so that has all happened in the past. You are all ruminating on this knowledge you have acquired from Thrastra when you approach Amphail. And then we'll sort of speed up to where we are. You sort of brief recap once again. You went to Staghorn Flagon. You met the proprietress, Arliosa Starhenge. She mentioned that you guys had a room there. To aid you in your efforts to help solve whatever is driving their horses mad. And then you're on your way to see Brighton Marthane, brother of Evelyn Marthane. I believe you were approaching his mansion as the session ended last time, so we'll start there.
It's not giant anymore, right? That only lasts-
No, that only lasted an hour after you summoned Ukman. I have many more fun spell effects in store, so feel free to keep
Well,
on
now I'm
casting
only gonna
spells.
smite.
Nothing bad will happen, I promise.
I wish you had said that before you the whole.
For those
Guardian
that
situation.
watch the VOD, I just attempted to troll face. It was not great, but it was there. But yeah, what are you guys doing now?
I'm deciding what background
I
on
eat the sludge.
No, I already.
The sludge has
That
been
was a
discarded.
day and a half ago.
The sludge has been discarded a long time ago.
I
Where's
go
the
back.
sludge?
I go back to find the sludge. No, I don't know. I'm practicing my music, I guess.
I do that in a tavern.
I can still practice without making money.
Fourth person disapproves.
Think about it this way: this is an investment. If I practice now, I get to make more money later.
That's how it works. But okay, you do you.
Alright, is there any objections to just knocking on the door and seeing what happens? I'll take your silence as a no. So you guys park your carts and horse off the driveway, and then disembark and walk up to the door and knock on it. And a very neatly dressed man opens the door and says, "Yes, can I help you?" He's sort of none of you are shoddily dressed, really, right? I mean, there's not an obvious choice like Freya, but
Yeah.
robes are
It was
spick and
done.
span.
Yeah, I'd prestidigitate everybody.
Evelyn like asks to get prestidigitated all the time. Like she does not like being dirty.
all right.
That makes sense.
So there's no. He does appear.
Cast prestidigitation here, there.
You do see his eyes widen momentarily when he sees all of you, but then he is, normally is replaced by the mask of a good butler. Oh, you are from that adventuring company. Oh yes. Please come inside, and you can wait while I inform Lord Warder Marthane that you have arrived. And he opens the door wider for you and motions you on inside. And then before I go to inform Lord Marthane, if any would like refreshments, just please ring the bell. And he points towards a bell that's next to you. You're sort of directed to a waiting room where there's some plush furniture, the nice carpet in there, and stuff like that for you guys to sit on while you wait. Oh, and then he
Power move.
hurries off. Yes, he hurries off, and then after about 5 or 10 minutes, you see you expected an older person, but it's someone who's probably in their mid-20s comes up to you. And he has blonde hair. I'm assuming he talks in a southern accent because Evelyn does, but I am.
Everybody around here does.
But even though I'm from the South, I abhor the
It's
southern.
canon. It's canon.
I
It's canon.
abhor the southern accent, and I won't do it. And I can't. First of all, I can't do it. Second of all, I won't do it.
You should at least try.
Okay, so he's blonde hair. I forgot what color eyes Evelyn says, but let's go with blue eyes. He's got a smattering of freckles. He's got tan skin, and he says, he says, oh God. I gotta get into it. I gotta work up to it. Well, this is gonna be awful. Well, howdy, y'all. What can I do for you this fine morning?
For the record, that was delightful.
We're here to help figure out what's wrong with the horses.
Oh, you must be them folks from that adventuring company called... What was it again?
Acquisitions Incorporated.
That's the one. Anyway, yes, I am the one that put forward that request to your company, and I am pleased that they dispatched such capable adventurers such as yourself so quickly to my town and residents. I'm assuming you have come here and before me for more information about our horse problems.
Yes.
I am pleased to fill you in. Well, it all started about, let's see, about a month ago. You know what Amphail is, right? Like, we raise horses here. Good horses. Horses everyone uses throughout the Sword Coast. Famous for it. And so, suffice to say, we know what we're doing. Anyways, out of the blue, this horse, one of these horses from the Roaring Horn family just goes crazy. Starts fighting against its handler, foaming at the mouth. Its eyes turn red with hate and rage. And it throws the handler off of him and begins to attack the other horses. Bites them.
Man, that is wild.
Yeah.
Picked up the accent too. It's spreading.
And so due to that, we couldn't stop it no matter what. And so due to that, we had to put the horse down. Now, we thought it was just a one-time thing, but then it turns out it spread. We thought it was just the Roaring Horns, so we sort of secluded them, made sure there was no signs of the madness spreading. But then it affected the other big name in horse breeding here, the Amphails. We had to put those horses down too. It was a couple at first from all those two major families and some of the smaller ones. And then there was an explosion where it was about 1 in 100 horses turned into about 1 in 5. And they even started attacking the people. Biting them something fierce, trampling them. It doesn't look like, I mean, they don't turn into something untoward after they get bitten, though. They just get a fever and then they recover. But yeah, we've been out of sorts here because, well, we make all of our money from raising and selling horses. And if all of our horses are crazy, we can't sell them. So that's why we put forward that request to that new adventuring company we heard so much about. Started up in Waterdeep whiles back. Are you saying this towards him to him once he finishes his explanation? Yes. Well, it's funny you should mention that because we did check the well water. We got a priestess of Maliki here. Her name is Soteria Tree, and she checked the water, said it was fine. There was nothing poison or magicy about it. As far as rivals, well, we got friendly rivalry here around these here parts, but like I said, it's affecting all the families. So, I mean, if you're trying to put the other families out of business that raise horses, why would you also affect your horses as well? Don't make much sense to me. And I mean, those were the obvious suspects, but we didn't really uncover anything. So as you can see, we're in a bit of a conundrum here. That's why we employed fellows such as yourselves. New hires. Well, it is coming into fall, so I mean, it's not really breeding season anymore. So we're sort of winding down for the year. I'm just focused on raising them and getting through the winter. So we don't really get any new hires, so to speak. If it came around in springtime, summertime, we get more new hires. That's pretty much all I know about this issue. If you want more information, you can talk to the Roarington family and the Amphail family, or you can also talk to that priestess I mentioned, Soteria Tree. She's over at the our temple here in town. It's called the Duality of Nature. It's dedicated to Chantea and Maliki. I'm putting those in there in the chat.
Okay.
These are the other like big families in town. The first one's Soteria Tree.
Did you say Darrington?
Soteria Tree.
Oh, okay.
And she is at the Duality of Nature, which is not on here, the map I have, because this is shockingly enough for a town this close to water, you think it'd be fleshed out more and have an updated map. Sadly, it does not.
Sounds like the cartographer can make a map.
So this is what we have. This is the best one I could find that actually has labeled things. So, yeah, it would be the largest structure in town. That is not a mansion, and it'd be somewhere in the middle of town along the long road. Oh no, I'm sorry. I already described it. There's a path leading out from the long road into a copse of trees. And you guys saw a stone structure in there, but you didn't investigate it. That was when you were coming to Amphail last session. I described everything. But yeah, and while you're here working, working for the town of Amphail, I reserved a room for your steam party at the Staghorn Flagon. It's run by a delightful individual named Erliosa Starhenge, and she should have rooms ready for you guys once you get there.
Fantastic, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you for stopping by to see me and for helping us with this problem.
Our pleasure.
Y'all have a lovely day now, you hear?
Does he really want us to have a lovely day?
You can insight it.
Can I do it too? Nice.
Yeah, everyone can insight. Whenever you throw an insight roll, I'm going to assume it's what has just happened or an individual talk.
Hey.
This is the most delightful southern gentleman you have ever seen.
Alright. It just seemed too good to be true. So,
Says
It
This
really
is
did.
this is that good old Southern hospitality
Change, like-
at work here. The refreshments, if you had asked for them, were lemonade and iced tea. Sweet tea. Sorry, sweet iced tea, which they would have mixed for you if you also asked. They also had cookies.
Half and half. I'm disappointed.
They also had cookies for you all. Lemon biscuits.
Distracted, because I'm trying to figure out if a cat would be a way of a long death class or the way of a drunken master if the cat is a mother. Feel free to tell me.
I don't know, because the cats can act drunk at times or seem like it because of how goofy they are.
We'll figure it out on break.
There was sweet tea. You guys did not ring the bell though, so none was given to you.
Well, it's fine. We don't need
where do y'all think we should go? Should we go to the ranches or should we go talk to the priestess or should we just go check the water ourselves?
I want to
check the
know
water.
how
I wanna-
he reacted to the Lathander stuff. That and I.
Oh, so he hasn't really noticed it, but if you make a show of showing it to him,
No, I wouldn't do that. I was just,
he would react to it.
Like,
Okay,
this-
I was
this is
just
a
curious.
Lathander symbol on my class. I'm gonna point that out.
Oh, can you say it one more time? I might have to turn you up because you're pretty quiet.
on my armor, there's a Lathander symbol.
Yeah,
in
I've
the
seen
middle
there's a
of my
giant
chest.
symbol on my
Oh, there is. Okay, yeah, he would react to that then. He would say, excuse me, miss, you wouldn't happen to be one of them followers of Lathander, now would you?
Excuse me while
I'm
I
sorry. Oh, this is too good.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Say it again, say it again.
Lathander. I think I'm saying that right. He's one of them sun guys or some such.
It's like, yeah, Lathander, we're actually both
Well,
Oh,
just
bless your heart.
watch yourself when you're out and about, especially when you do go to the temple. Recently we had a pretty good relations with Lathander and his followers, but after an event that occurred a few days back, well, the townsfolk don't take too kindly to them sort of folk around here no more.
What happened?
Did something happen?
They came up to the duality of nature, making all sort of wild claims and accusations about how some sort of thief was going to come around and try to take the holy text that we had there, and to stop said thief, they were going to take it first. I don't know how that quite works out because they became thieves themselves. Anyway, they took it back to them to Waterdeep, where they said they would safeguard it for our benefit.
Oh yeah,
I did try to file a formal complaint, but I was brushed aside.
I'm sorry. This is the best thing ever.
we're going to do everything we know about these, book thieves, and we're going to be doing everything we can to make sure it's safe for these religious texts to be returned.
Now, hold on a second. You are saying that there was some truth to their claims? That there are a bunch of book thieves going around the Sword Coast? Pilfering
It's absolutely true.
any written text they can come across?
Well, not just
Yes,
these, but
absolutely
very
true.
specific. They're called the librarians.
Yes, they're a rogue fraction of wizards who are collecting holy text to get into the meta. The books have been removed from Okay, hold on. What town were we in last?
You were in Laughing Golden Fields.
So Golden Fields has been removed. It's been removed from
Yartar.
Yartar, and it was removed from Daggerford.
Yes.
They attempted to remove the book from Tribor, but we prevented that from happening.
So you're telling me a group of mild-mannered, respectable librarians whose only
No,
issue
they
with
did-
you is if you
they
talk
give
too
librarians
loud.
They give librarians a bad name.
Oh, so they're not the ones that just tell you to be quiet when you're in a library.
No, they're the ones who try to kill you when they say, "Don't touch my holy text."
Oh, now that is a different sort now, is it? Isn't it? Well, if you do have some experience with these vagabonds, I do hope you will bring them to justice so our holy text can be returned to us post-haste.
I hope so. We can return that holy text to you. I just wanted it to be kept safe.
That is the goal.
Well, I was a bit incredulous about their claims, but now that you are backing them up, I feel a bit better about it. I will try to inform the citizens. I can't say that word in my normal.
Citizens,
Now he would say citizenry, but I can't say it normally or in that accent.
citizenry.
That citizenry about what you have informed me of today, but it will take some time to get that information out there to the general public. We don't really have much in the ways of town cry around these here parts.
If you could get the information out to the people at the church first, that way they're.
I asked him if I could cast a spell on him.
What sort of spell? It's not one of those ones that'll make me do whatever you tell me to, is it?
I would not dare. I'm disappointed now, y'all. I really wanted to cast thaumaturgy on him to make him the town crier.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do
I
it. Do it.
can't. It's your voice booms up to 3 times as loud.
Oh.
I mean,
No.
I can direct some of my servants to post a notice in the taverns and inns, and
Oh, I just have this thing where I can make my voice super loud. I was hoping I could cast it on you, but apparently I don't have that magic.
I can do that.
No, like you just can't. It's part of the spell. It's your voice.
I wouldn't know much about that sort of thing. Haven't really been good in.
I was just gonna make you the town crier, but apparently I can't. Also, apparently we're gonna talk in this accent all night. It's probably terrible.
And he says, "Well, I do hope you have a delightful day, and I look forward to hearing good news from you as soon as possible." He wouldn't say that. What's a southern expression for quickly? I don't know one. Bless your heart would be like, "Oh, you're dumb, but I forgive you."
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yes, but it's used in every situation.
But he would say, I don't know, what's a dumb southern expression? I should know this because I'm from the South. But he would say, quicker than a... This is going to be dumb. Is it?
Quicker than a slice of peach pie.
What the fuck?
That's something.
How is that quick?
He would say, quicker than a frog nabs a fly out of the air.
All right. Where do you guys want to go?
And you guys are shown out by the butler that you met inside, and the door is closed behind you all. And you're back in your cart. He did mention that there were 3 groups of individuals you might want to talk to. just in case you forgot, the Roaring Horn family, the Amcathra family, and the priestess Soteria Tree.
Can I ask if the people drink the same water as the horses?
Hold on, pen and pencil. What was it? Was Roaring Horn?
There, it's also it's Roaring. It's in Roll20, but it's Roaring Horn, Amcathra, and those are the families. And then the priestess was named Soteria Tree, which is also on the Roll20 chat log. He would say, if you're still talking to Brighton, he would say, well, we mainly get our water from the well here in town. And there's a small pond out back that the horses, we generally let the horses drink from. But I think it does connect to the same underground source.
I will go to the pond of water and detect poison and disease around it virtually.
You do not detect any poison or disease in the water.
Is it 30 feet? Okay.
Oh, well, that's good to scratch off.
I go to a horse that's sick.
All
and
right.
I do the same thing.
So when you guys came in here, you didn't see any horses,
Yeah, we'll probably have to go to one of the families, right?
which was strange because you saw a bunch of open fields where it looked like there was fences for horses, like where horses should be, but there were no horses.
Okay.
Does that mean you want to head to one of the families first?
Do we get a Cax voice now? That's exciting. I presume, go talk to our family.
It's up to you guys.
Your decision is where we're gonna go.
Yeah, so I think
Go talk to the priest and see what she knows.
yeah, talk to independent third party first, and then we can figure out.
But Indy does the talking.
Yeah, I agree.
And Aylin and Nat stay in the back.
Cool.
All right. You guys head
Great decision.
head towards that small pathway that leads out off the the long road. Sorry, not the north road. The long road. It leads to a copse of trees. Inside, you see this very nice looking stone structure. It has some vines and sort of other like greenery on its side. But there's also like cultivated crops next to it. You see like corn and squash and pumpkins and stuff like that. And there's also like a meadow and like some wildflowers and stuff. So it looks like
Is there a beehive?
there's no beehive for this one.
Oh.
But looks like
Disappointing.
the split is like almost down the center of the structure. Like half of it has like these crops that are like in neat tilled rows in a nice like field with dark soil and that's weeded and everything like that. And the other half is like almost overgrown where the vines are on the walls. There's the wildflowers and stuff like that.
Cool.
And it's you're in there. You see a stained glass window where you see on the front of it, above the double doors, the half that's agriculture. You see it's a portrait, like a side view portrait of Shantea, like just her face, and then the other half is side portrait of Maliki, and they're surrounded by the outline around them of the circle or pane of glass is like a sunburst. And then you guys, there's old ancient wooden doors that are closed ahead of you guys.
Old ancient wooden doors. Okay. I knock.
There's no answer.
Hello? Anyone home? We're here from Acquisitions Incorporated. Still nothing?
Yeah, still nothing.
Can I like go around the back or something? I mean, I don't want to have to break in, but like.
I mean, you haven't tried the doors.
Oh.
They're just closed in front of you.
Yeah. I try and open up the door.
Yeah, it swings open. There's a creak there. It obviously needs some grease, but it does open. It's pretty heavy.
I cast prestidigitation and I clean the. I cast prestidigitation and I clean the hinges. Does it squeak?
It's more like you need to apply grease because it's just metal on metal, and it doesn't and it would help the squeaking if there was some grease there. So you'd clear out the gunk, but that doesn't really seem to be the issue. Like, if there was a fancy equivalent WD-40, that would be great.
Okay, can we use the sludge from the head?
You discarded that.
I know.
And it's also, if you had it, you could try, but you don't, sadly.
Okay, and it's back to like the actual game. I guess I keep going through the hallway.
Right. So when you open and you guys step into the church, the first thing you notice is pretty dark. You don't see anything lit. No torches, no lights, no globes that are illuminating a light spell or anything like that. The only lights you're sort of getting are from these stained glass windows and the light filtering from it. The sides have a few windows too, but they're sort of dim. Like there's like a filter over them, so they don't really let in much light. But the back of the, as you're looking at the back of the, I'm losing my words here, of the church or chapel, you do see another stained glass window. It's larger than the circular one that's above the door you just entered in, which has closed behind you as you stepped inside. The stained glass window in the back depicts like pretty much what you see outside. You see like a forest and like wildflowers on one side, and then you see like a cultivated field on one side as well, and they're all underneath the sun. And there's another thing you see in the back that's sort of kind of illuminated by the light. The back of this chapel is about 60 feet away. And you see there's some movement going on there, but you can't really see it. It's kind of like at the edge of your dark vision, or the light that's been cast by this the stained glass. The only reason you can really see it is because of the light filtering through the back stained glass window.
Okay. So,
Can I go outside, walk around the back of the church, light my shit up behind the window, and make it shine through?
Oh.
If you want.
Sure.
I mean, because your stuff shines right now. You just haven't activated it.
Yeah, but I wanted to light up the stained glass window.
Okay. So you try the back door, or the door you just came through, and it doesn't open.
Okay. So my shield is definitely not on.
Give me a perception check. Caxier and Rashemi.
Wait, what did you just say?
Perception check. Caxier and
Before
Rashemi.
that. Something about the door.
It does not open.
We're locked in.
Oh shit. Okay. Can I try and pick the lock really quick?
For the record, my passive perception is 18.
Okay.
I might have a better skills tool set.
All right. So
My
Cax,
passive is 19.
you can smell something,
Yeah,
and
it's small.
it smells and it tastes coppery.
Oh shit! I'm gonna go immediately look for.
And looking around, you take a couple steps
Mhm.
forward, and you're sort of, and it's you have dark vision, so you're looking through the dark. On the ground. You thought.
Shield is on, Nate.
I'm sorry. Okay, then light
The
illuminates
my
this
shields are
area.
on.
You thought there was a statue to Shantea that was standing next to you, but looking at it, it looks like to be a statue of a half-elven woman, almost lifelike in appearance, with a face frozen in a look of pure terror. There are figures that are seated on the pews, but looking closely, you see that there is blood coming from their face and eyes and ears. And looking towards the back of the chapel where you saw the movement, you see a brief flash of light as a flame illuminates something as it hits the floor and burns it away. And you see a figure who is sort of, he's saying something, he's muttering something, and he's also throwing what looks to be books over his shoulder. And as soon as they hit the stone floor, they ignite into flame and combust. This figure is wearing a resplendent gray robe.
Can I immediately motion for everyone
Maybe
to
he
be
has that
extremely
wild
quiet?
magic.
No, everyone to be extremely quiet, and I want to try to sneak up on him and stab him or throw a dagger at him to see if he can get an element of surprise.
I mean,
Real quick, can I make any kind of check to see if this is the same kind of touching things and they light on fire that happen to me?
Give me a Arcana check.
I'm so bad at that. Still negative one. Wow, I'm so smart today.
I'm so proud of you.
All right. This does not look to be like that. This is not a wild magic. He's not even casting a spell. It's almost like subconsciously he's doing this. How he's not even incanting. He's just literally just chucking books behind his back. And now, as you guys are approaching, you see him say, "So it really wasn't here. Such a shame."
I'm gonna sneak and throw a dagger at like the base of his neck or the roof of his neck.
And then, as you get closer to him, he sort of turns to face you all. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wasn't sure because I'm responding.
But you're sneaking up, and he sees. Well, he doesn't see you, but he just turns around and says, "Oh, I didn't expect you to get here so soon."
I didn't get a start off before he turned around.
You can try if you want. He's
Okay,
really turning around now. He's saying this as he's turning around. When he's turning around, you notice a few things.
I wanted to throw before that.
Caxier, yeah, you can throw it. You say a few things. You see a few things as you're throwing your dagger. You see that he's not really here, so to speak, as in like he's here, but he's like shifting in position. He's like rapidly vibrating. And the bottom half of his face is visible through the robes, but it's like swirling and twisting. So you can't really see what he looks like, and his voice is also similarly disguised. It looks like there are almost 10 or 12 different people speaking at once, but they're saying the same thing. That gets within about 10 feet of him, then bounces off of some invisible field around him.
Yeah.
And he says, now, there's no need for violence.
God, I wanna.
Um,
I want Rex to respond
I
to this. Have a chance to do it.
Because
Yeah, I
he
wanna
knows
see
more
something
about his
better, you know.
backstory than we do.
I want to do something else, but I'll wait until Rex has his before I do anything.
Meanwhile, until Rex gets back, what class should we put the cat in?
It's a monk and then between
I've
monk and
decided
hand
honestly
and
probably a monk.
Yeah, like
monk and hand and what was the other one?
way up along death, I think he said
Yeah.
in his Discord.
I'm not familiar with that one specifically.
Yeah, neither
it's
am
like a
I.
vampire monk.
That's
I want to say
dank.
drunken. I want to say drunken. Or whatever the other one was.
Yeah.
That's not what you said, but
Long Death says it's not with meeting the mechanics of dying. They capture creatures for elaborate experiments. You can get 2 points back.
okay.
Your soul's been touched in the saddle of death. So I'm thinking like cat
Rex
with
is
9
back.
lives or cat. Cool, Rex is back.
Sorry.
I like
Rex,
both.
there's a librarian in front of you. What do you say? He said there's no need for violence.
Cax threw a knife at him, and it sort of bounced off this field around 10 feet around him.
Before he said anything.
It bounced off a field 10 feet around him.
Yeah, it got within about 10 feet of him, and
also,
it bounced
he's
off a field.
blurry, and you can see like 17 or bajillion different faces on the bottom half of his face.
No, it sounds like a bunch of different voices talking like a fever.
What?
So he is like almost vibrating in place or glitching out, so to speak. So it looks like there's slight variations of where he is at any place in time. In addition, you can see the bottom half of his face through his gray robes. You can see that his are very resplendent, even at this distance, Rex. The thread count is chef's kiss. But his bottom half of his face is like swirling, like it's you can't really tell what it is. It hurts even to look at it. And when he speaks through like a voice modulator, so it's like 10 to 12 different voices all coming out at once that are
Like
saying the
Liam when
same
he does
thing.
Speak and spell.
What was that?
Is he like Liam O'Brien when he does the Speak and Spell voice?
I haven't heard him do that. I've just heard him voice Caleb, so maybe I can't attempt to do 12 voices at once, but it's like layered, so it's hard to tell what his real voice is.
Just speak with 4 sets of vocal cords at the same time. It's not that hard.
And then he says there's no need for violence. Allow me to introduce myself. And he gives a slight bow to you. He says
You are, you asshole.
he says you get a faint thing of a smile. He says, my name is Gnosis. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. Team Soteria from Acquisitions Incorporated.
You act like that's information that's hard to gather. You know who you are, you know who we are. Why does it matter?
He says, I will admit that you and Team Palace have been a bit of a thorn in my side ever since you discovered our existence. But that doesn't mean I'm not willing to speak with you all.
Well, there's some magic shit happening here.
He has not cast
Use the force field.
he has not
Yeah,
cast a spell yet that you know of.
Like,
Do we?
is he actually there?
You aren't certain.
Or is he like a projection?
I feel like he's there because something
lighting
bounced
on
off of him.
No. It bounced off a force field. But he's interacting with objects, so.
That's what I
But
mean.
just
Like, if he weren't there, the knife would have just gone through him or something.
Yeah, I do want to try to do something, but it would require us not bothering to talk, so I'll wait.
He
Rex
says,
is just stunned.
he says,
yeah. What is my buddy Rex doing?
oh, there's no need to be frightened or while we are merely conversing, my associates nearby will not attempt to incinerate you.
What do you want?
Well, I want to talk to you all.
And if we don't want that,
And we'll have nothing further to discuss, and we'll be on our way, and you will be on your way.
Cool. I have other things to go do besides have this conversation.
Yes, figure out the source of the horse madness that's inflicting Amphail.
Yes, the one you probably caused.
Another faint smile. You are wise beyond your
Listen.
years.
Well,
this is just
the librarians are a little
fun.
predictable.
Oh, well, that is unfortunate. If we're becoming so predictable, we might have to change up our methods. I was planning on addressing all of you, offering you the same thing, but it looks like not all of you are open to conversing with me. Waltherius Rex, are you open to a discussion?
For now, yes.
He says, oh, delightful. See, librarians are always looking for open-minded individuals that are working for a better tomorrow. And we think that you possess that mindset, Arthurius Rex, along with some magical ability, and you will be useful to librarians. That's why I personally came out to see you and your associates, companions, and offer you a chance to join the librarians.
Why do you think we'd be interested in that now?
He says, because of your current status as employees, or what was the term that man called it? Oh yes, franchisees owners of Acquisitions Incorporated. I'm sure not all of you willingly chose such a means of gainful employment. Am I correct in that? After all, risking life and limb for coin is not something someone does, and someone in their right mind does willingly. There are safer professions that can earn you a lot more money.
Who said I was sane?
Who said I didn't grow up in essences? Who says I don't enjoy this?
Yeah, it's fun. I get to see things I wouldn't otherwise get to see. That's the whole point of being an adventurer. It's not. Some people do it for the fame or for the money, but most people do it to have new experience. And I do it to have more experiences, to learn more about the world that I live in. It's yeah, working a job every day in a city is fine, but it gets boring. You get bored.
So you never wished for a different life, a better life than risking your life daily for a handful of coin?
We don't wish to become
It's
gods.
not really a handful of coin. It's more than that. We get compensated well, enough to get by, and frankly, that's all I need.
He says, if you knew more about who you are, you would think differently.
Okay.
What's your full name, Indy?
Tell me.
This is out of character. What's
For
your
the
full
record,
name?
I would insight check Indy.
What's your full name, Indy, by the way? Is it Independence?
Yeah.
He says, if you knew more about where you came from, Independence, you might think differently.
Evelyn hears the stuff Indy's saying, and she just wants to know if it's true or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
hop into something else.
I think you would know that Indy.
She's not sure.
Okay. Indy's genuinely telling the truth. Like,
He says, and Miss Antares, was it you don't regret what happened on the Star of Kaon all those years ago?
No. It wasn't my fault, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. So
Did you
I accepted
perhaps
it, and that's all I knew.
did you wish you had the power to stop it? Did you pray to a god to help you in your time of need? And found them wanting?
I didn't bother.
Did your mother?
Of course. But I have no wish to become a god. I'm perfectly fine with the world I live in right now. I think it's a fool's errand. I'm not going to turn out well for you or for...
I think you lack vision, Miss Antares.
I can see through all your bullshit right now, so I don't think so.
What are you offering us?
Well, I'm offering you to help me change the world. Change this ridiculous set of rules these gods have imposed upon us.
But you're not offering us. I mean, it sounds like you're phrasing it like you're offering us a chance to become gods, but you really just want us to help you become a god.
He says, well, once I ascend to godhood, I will be able to dispose of the current pantheon, and I will need other gods to fill their shoes. There are members, there are opportunities for advancement in our organization. How about he says a new god of magic. He says one better than that fool Mistra.
well, Mr.
Oh?
What? Who gives you the right to speak of gods as fools?
Ever since they played us for fools, I see the truth. Do you not find it odd, Rex, that spells end, our knowledge of spells ends at the 9th level? What an arbitrary number. What a strange one. Why not 10? Why not something beyond even that?
I'm listening.
No, don't.
Mistra has lied to us all. The gods have lied to us all to prevent us from being better than we are. They have limited our magical ability to spells of 9th and lower. For instance, beyond the metatext, did you know that there is a spell that can transform one into a god? Of course, it requires many things and time to activate. But once you're successful in casting it, you will be on par with a god. The gods are scared of us and our potential, and so they limit us. I don't like being limited. Who are they to limit us? That's why I'm doing this, to unlock our potential, to make us better than we are.
Evelyn just doesn't care anymore. She just doesn't care.
Oh,
Um,
you guys,
what are your parents? Is it senior time? I'm sorry, Evelyn.
Evelyn just needs her real name.
Yeah, but senior time is your parents' last name, right? And by that, yours. Senior time. Miss Senior time, how many times did you pray to Lathander to deliver your lost sister back to you? How many times were you blamed by your
Probably not
parents?
very often.
How many times were you blamed by your parents for losing
She just
her?
walks away. Like, she walks away, and she feels like attacking the door to leave, because she doesn't feel like dealing with the conversation. She thinks it's pointless.
Yeah. Max really doesn't want to bother this conversation. She just wants to fucking stab him in the neck or something.
I think Evelyn realizes it's useless to stab him.
I know, but like she still wants to try. It's something she knows how to do.
Like, Evelyn's just over it.
He says, Lathander and the other gods are unwilling or unable to answer the prayers of all their followers. Wouldn't it be better if they did?
No. I said that out loud in my house, y'all. Just no.
So you haven't prayed that you would receive more recognition amongst the Order of the Aster?
No.
That they take you seriously? You never wanted that? You aren't tired of being their errand girl?
See, there's a difference between Lathander noticing you and then people who are hypothetically higher up the food chain you noticing you. They're very different things, and it doesn't particularly matter.
I see my words fall upon deaf ears. But others of you don't seem to think the same way.
here's the problem with what you're talking about.
If
Humans
I
have
looked at
ascended
Nat,
before.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
I just want to look at Nat and see how Nat's reacting, and then Rex can keep talking.
I'm just kind of listening.
Okay.
Nothing like poker face, you know. Nothing.
Just and rush at me too. I just want to kind of keep an eye on my party.
So, humans have ascended before. You act like they haven't ascended. They have.
Do you know when the last human ascended to godhood was?
What was that?
He asked you, do you know the last human that ascended to godhood was, or last mortal?
Do I? Out of character, I know the Raven Queen was.
No, she wasn't. It was a long time ago.
No, I mean, I know that
Yeah,
she
Raven Queen.
did, but
Yeah.
I don't know who the was.
Yeah, he's asking you. Give me a history check.
Sure. Where is my sheet?
Yeah, it was Mistra. It's the last one to ascend. After the, I gotta get my lore right, but I believe it was a time of troubles, which translate into the spell plague. Because the old Mistra was, you might not know all of this, but this is out of character. You know that the last, that Mistra, the current Mistra, was the last one to ascend. When did that happen, though? I gotta look this up. This is the wrong one.
Uh-oh.
Okay, here we go. She ascended about 150 years ago.
Who?
That's not bad.
Wait, who?
Mistra.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Mr. Ascended only 150 years ago?
And he says, you guys don't know the lore, but and your character wouldn't know it either, but there's multiple, there's always a mystery as long as there's magic. Because she is the weave. Anyway, that's out of character knowledge. He's not saying this. He says, yes, but since then, she is this very same mystery is the one that imposed these limitations on us, so that no one else can ascend.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
He says this new Mystra that has ascended is the one that has imposed these restrictions on mortals, so we cannot ascend to godhood anymore. We must find other means to do so, like the metatext.
There's been restrictions on that forever. This is just the latest form.
Yeah.
I mean, when the Raven Queen ascended, the gods were unhappy. Mystra ascended, I'm sure the gods were unhappy, and they've each put their own shackles on.
You wouldn't know about the Raven Queen, and also because it literally happened when Loth was made, so that's like thousands and thousands of years ago. Like I said before, this is out of character knowledge. Before humanity was even a thing.
What race was the Raven?
She was an elf.
Can't speak.
The lore is she was an elf that was trying to mend the rift between Loth and Corellian, and so her followers gave her their magic/souls so she could become a god. The problem was she had some followers who were getting a little bit too greedy, and they were siphoning souls up for themselves to boost their own magic power. And when she was becoming a god, so to speak, she realized this and got angry. The negative emotions messed up the spell and turned her into the Raven Queen.
Dang.
But that's like, I don't even think I think the only people that would know that would be Corellian and other members of the Elvish Pantheon. Like, she doesn't really have anything to do with other gods and stuff. So, like,
Okay, cool.
If the only people that would know are Shadar Kai, really. And if no one is a Shadar Kai, then you wouldn't know. No. But you would know Kellenvor was one a long time ago, even longer than Mystra.
Sure.
Because how they viewed death was different. Because before this current Kellenvor, death was a bad thing. Now it's more of a neutral thing. But he says, yes, but it's been limited more and more by gods who think they know better, who seek to limit our potential. I'm merely trying to unlock our potential, our full potential. We should be the masters of our own destiny, not some figure in the sky who is unwilling or unable to answer our requests.
Who's trying to replace the figure
Who's dependent on us for their power in the first place, yet is unwilling or unable to grant our requests.
All you want to do is replace them. You just said it. You just said once you have ascended, you'll dole out power to those you feel worthy. That's what the gods do today.
Yeah, how are you any different? What makes you different from any of the other gods that have already ascended?
Because I'll answer the prayers of my followers.
I mean, look at Evelyn here. Her prayers are answered.
You talk about things you don't understand.
Oh,
You can't possibly understand what they can and can't do because you're not one of them.
Perhaps the gods never spoke to you because they didn't like you. I mean, frankly, you seem like an asshole.
I didn't say it, guys, but I was thinking that.
He says, and which gods have spoken to you, Independence?
I haven't felt the need to speak to too many gods myself, but I know the power that they wield.
and the power that
Yes.
I give to my friends.
To a small, select, privileged few.
Think you would do the same.
No, I would not.
Just like you would.
Everyone who believes would be rewarded.
And that's not what's happening now.
I want to make a persuasion check again for our side.
Can I?
It's not gonna happen.
It's just like how, like it's so obvious that like what he's doing is just gonna it's just a recreation, the same pattern of before. But like,
Yeah, but he's playing the I am more worthy than you bullshit.
Yeah.
No, but-
quite literally the holier than thou.
Yeah. Hey Nate.
Yeah.
Can I do the thing I said in the chat, like investigate bodies?
Is it in Discord?
Roll 20.
Oh. Oh, yeah. You're not certain. It's not like they've been dead long. It looks like they've been
I'll do it.
a couple of minutes. Probably more like an hour or two.
Oh, nope.
Okay, yeah, you don't know. They're just blood. The blood hasn't dried yet.
Is that soon enough for Revivify?
Or it's starting to dry.
No, I have to ask you within 1 minute.
Damn.
We'll be able to do, if they're not dead, if they're just losing a good secret investigation.
Oh no, they're totes dead. That doesn't take an investigation check to figure out.
Oh, what about the elf?
I mean, I already knew they were dead.
Oh, he says, when you, oh, the elf is, the half-elf is under a spell, looks like. You're not sure which one.
Okay, I think he's probably a old person, what does it say? I wouldn't know that.
Is that the one that's turned to stone?
Give me an Arcana check or a religion check. It'd be a religion check if you know this in your spell list, which clerics do.
I mean, I have remove curse prepared.
Oh.
Because I figured I might need it for the day.
Yeah.
It does look like it's a flesh to stone sort of effect, but
I mean, I don't know flesh to stone because it's not a spell I can cast yet.
yeah.
But I just know that because I've played clerics before. But no, I took remove curse because you said there was something about the horses in the town today, and so I took that because I figured it just could be a curse.
He says when you see you're showing concern, guys, don't worry about it. She will return to normal in a few hours.
I asked for Shemi to open the door of the church.
He says, well, it looks like I'm unable to persuade all of you. Such a shame.
So it's shame you weren't able to persuade you.
And let's see.
I feel like if people want to persuade them, they should just be able to try.
I don't think it'll work.
I mean, I feel like someone would have to roll like a natural 20 plus like a lot, but
No, it's like it's literally changing someone's life goals to something differently.
I force feed him the filter of love.
Well, you'd have to walk about another 45 or so feet to get up to him, but
I'm making a joke.
Oh, wait, how far away is it? Like, how many feet?
he's about 45 feet away from you all.
can Evelyn just go open the door?
Yeah, if you want to open the door, it does open now. There's some resistance there, but you are
And
able
then
to open
opens
the
the
door.
door and walks out.
We're just having none of it.
I know
She's
but
very
I
done.
conversation. We're done with this conversation. Because I am. I just want to know.
As well, if you were not, if you were just trying to tune him out, he does say, "Well, such a shame I was unable to convince you all to join our side." If you're looking to solve the issue of the madness affecting Amphail's horses, this might help. And he, from his robe, he produces a strange, like, small cube-like thing, metal cube, and he just tosses at the floor, and it
No.
clatters a bit, and rolls, and has to a stop. He says, "All right, time to go."
Wait, can I, as
Wait.
he's doing the thing, I wanted to do something. As soon as I saw him pull it out and get ready to toss it, I wanted to do something.
What do you want to do?
I wanted to run 15 feet forwards and Misty Step, try to get right behind him.
As soon as you advance upon him, you are placed inside of a force cage.
Inside of a what? Wait, what did you say?
You are placed inside of a force cage.
Okay, that's fun.
Rex, Arcana check.
Wait, can I try to Misty Step out of it?
You cannot see out of it.
Wait, do you have to see?
You have to see for Misty Step to work.
I thought Force Cage was visible. Like it was.
It says you are inside of it. You are completely trapped. You cannot leave it by non-magical means. If you try to teleport or use effort.
An immobile, invisible, cube-shaped prison. So I should therefore be able to see out.
It
Yeah,
says
but-
it prevents any matter from passing through it and blocking any spells cast into or out of it.
No, it is. It is. You teleport up to 30 feet to an unaccompanied space that you can see. That you can
Yeah, so if
see.
you try to teleport, you can't though. It says well, you can try to make a charisma saving throw.
I mean,
Rex,
I
he did
wouldn't
not
know
use
what
any
level that
components to
is.
cast that spell. He did not say anything verbally. He did not make any signs, and he did not use any components.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Or it was already there.
I'll make a charisma saving throw because I wouldn't know that I wouldn't be able to get out. No.
Like I said, there's no need for violence. There'll be plenty of time for that later if you continue to interrupt our progress. I bid you all good day.
Wait. How can I get a hold of you?
He sort of steeples his fingers.
Am I supposed to know what that means?
Like he's thinking. And then he gives like a nod, and he says, I'm trying to figure out how this would play out, because I didn't expect you to ask this question. And then he says, I'll leave you with the means to contact someone within the organization if you are interested, Rex. He says, you can use this device. And you feel like something has been deposited into your pocket.
Okay.
And he sort of claps his hand and says, all right, well, I do look forward to your feeble attempts to stop us. He says, do try to make it interesting for us. Rex, if you are ever have a change of heart, feel free to contact us. I bid you all good day.
Okay, bye.
As he says this, 4 individuals materialize out of thin air, and then a portal opens behind him, and they all walk through it. As soon as he leaves, whatever is restraining you, Cax, dissolves, and you see that the flesh, the stone, whatever is turning this half-elf into a statue, is beginning to flake off of her.
Okay. Well,
Caitlin's outside. She
that
very
was
much
an
walked out.
experience. Well, we know a lot more than we did before.
Are you guys still in the church?
I am.
Caitlin is outside.
Now we go to the lady. Try to help her out. Whatever.
So, it's still, peeling off of her and falling to the ground, and it's starting with, her extremities, and it's working her way up to her body and her head. But eventually, she begins to, you see her head start to, turn towards you, and more of the stone is, sort of falling off of her and turning into dust. And then and then a leg moves, and then an arm moves towards you, and then it's sort of the rest of it sort of all dissipates at once, and she sort of falls into your arms now.
I gently, bring her to the floor, kind of sitting.
Oh, by the goddesses, is he still here?
No, he just left.
Oh,
yeah, sorry.
What happened?
well, I was leading.
I just saw roll 20. Thank you, Cax.
He didn't notice it or give any indication that he registered it, because he, but she says, I was leading worship for a few followers, and 5 people came inside, and they said they were looking for the holy text, the children of the forest, and if it was still here. And I told them I thought they were maybe followers of Lathander or something, and I walked up to them to give them the peace of my mind, and as soon as I raised a hand against him, I turned into stone. But I could still see what was going on as they killed the 4 people in this room, and then began looking around.
I'm very sorry. We're gonna do everything we can to stop justice. Is there anything we can do for you?
Oh, and she's just like, I need to bury these people and give them their last rites.
All right. Well, I can help you with that. Some of my friends are outside.
All right. So it takes about an hour for you to get them all, dig holes for all of them, using might or magic. A different series. Anyway. And she says prayers for their souls and that sort of thing. She says, I need to inform the Lord of Water. So what has happened?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. We're trying to.
I'm sorry, you cut off there, Nat.
Oh, we're doing our best to make sure that this doesn't happen. We haven't had much success, I guess.
And she says, well, thank you. I guess all of you followers of Lathander aren't too bad.
Well, I'm happy that we could at least show you that.
And then she sort of gives like one last look at the chapel, and then begins running off towards the mansion of the Lord Warder. What's everyone else doing during this hour?
I want to take whatever was in my pocket out and look at it.
Looks like a very like a smooth, almost smooth river stone.
It's gonna be magical, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Before we go outside, is that Cuban still?
I don't think anyone picked it up.
I don't know who else is inside. I feel like a lot of people left, so I don't take it.
Okay. It looks to be like a cube, metal. There are some ridges and patterns in it, and it looks like there's a excuse me. It looks like there is some faint, like archaic script carved or written into it, and it seems to catch the light whenever you made out of some sort of reflective material. It seems to catch the light whenever you angle it towards it in certain ways, and it glows faintly. But it's you're not familiar with it, Nat.
All right. Well, during that hour, maybe Rex can identify it.
Spend some time casting Detect Magic and Identify on both the stone and the cube.
The stone given to you is an identify. Sorry, is a sending stone. It's linked to something though. You're not sure where it is.
So how does sending stones work? Is it just anytime I want?
This one is essentially a one-way. There's probably be some sort of limit on it, but we'll discuss that later. Probably one a day or one a week or something like that. It's probably actually only a one-use thing. He wouldn't give you a way to contact his organization all the time. It'd be a one-use sending stone. Because you didn't seem like all gung-ho about joining Team Librarian. And as far as the other thing goes, it's not magical, or rather, it's not. The runes in it. Give me an Arcana check, Rex. The runes in it seem to indicate that
You're saying the runes in it.
the runes. Sorry, it's like there's like an archaic script etched into around the cube. Seem to indicate that it has a sort of, it's a cure sort of magic item, but it has no power. That's why Identify didn't work on it. It's not giving off any magical energy. It lacks that sort of spark. It's like prep, but there's no power there, essentially. It affects low intelligence creatures.
So me.
Low intelligence creatures in a certain radius and causes them to go mad.
It's not magic?
Now keep in mind his words. He says, if you're looking to solve the problem of what's causing the horses in this town to go mad, this will help. This item itself is not magical, that he has tossed at the ground.
I'm guessing there's one or more of these placed elsewhere.
That would be a very wise guess.
Anybody got locate objects? I can do it tomorrow.
I can do it tomorrow too, but I'm outside. I'm outside fuming. Like, Emily's just irritated and like,
Well, this is after an hour, so we're all outside having
oh,
some of
then-
us freshly buried
I like to do it
bodies.
tomorrow. But Emily's just
Yeah, I can do it tomorrow too.
irritated.
Let's all just prep it. It's the radius isn't actually that big, is it? So we
It's
might
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
Oh, okay.
Can do it
I thought
now.
was small.
Look at objects, say wizardy stuff. Or I guess
Oh,
Rex,
shit, I
you
have
don't
a
know.
familiar with me. I just realized that. Fucking you.
Yeah, you guys have noticed that this coyote has been following Caxier around.
Can you cast spells through familiars? Or is
No.
that a thing? Okay.
You
I
can
think that might be
you-
a warlock thing.
you can quote load them up on a spell as long as it's touch, and they can deliver it via touch.
Oh, okay.
And if a spell requires sight and you're looking through the familiar's eyes, you can do it that way, as long as you're within range of them, so to speak.
Did somebody say they could do it today?
Yes.
No. Oh.
Rex can
Rex
do
can
whatever
roll
wizard
magic
spell he
anything.
wants. He's got to pass an
Oh,
Arcana check.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. We can do it real easy.
I assume we're all at full health, right? I didn't ever fix my HP.
Yeah, wisely, no one tried to fight Gnosis currently, because it would not have gone well for you.
A dagger would.
Well,
I kind of did.
You did, but one attack at a 14 is not good enough to hit him.
Oh no.
I am stepping away from
What's in
everybody
this
before I do this,
okay.
but it doesn't matter.
Okay, so you're focusing on this object in your hand, and it looks like that there are, and you're looking at it, taking all of its ratios in, what the runes on it say, the material it's made out of, everything, and you see 3 of these objects placed around town, but they're underground, deep, not deep, but like 30 feet. It's like 10 feet down. Whatever the range is, that would make it outside the range of detect magic, essentially. It's buried underground in the fields around the town.
I got you. Well, I'll use that knowledge to, I guess, take the group around, pick them up.
Want me to just smash them?
These are humming with magic energy, Rex. You can tell that as you get them.
You said they're underground.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're digging them up.
So the one we had was kind of inert.
But these 3, like the runes on them, are glow. Like the runes on this one you have are merely reflecting light. These are emitting light. Like they are primed and ready to go. So they're.
Can I dispel magic on one of them?
Yeah, you can. And when you cast a spell magic, is that an area or is just one object? You're like, no magic for you.
It's an object or magical. One creature, object, or magical effect in range. So I would pick the cube.
One of those cubes, the lights on it fade.
As long as it's 3rd level or a lower spell.
The lights on one of the cubes fades, and it looks just like the one that Rex has in his hand.
Cool.
Let's keep one and not dispel it, and keep it in the bag of holding.
Youngest person.
When you dig these out, your familiars begin acting strangely.
Mine.
Both everyone who has a familiar out and your horse. Your horse is what? He's intelligence of 6, doesn't he?
Yeah, Oakman wouldn't.
Yeah, Ukman
wouldn't because.
So Ukman's fine because he doesn't boost intelligence. But Venning and Maik. Is it Maik?
Right.
they begin like scratching at nothing, looking around, like somebody's about to attack them. And
Can I take the 2 that's left and stuff them in the bag and see if if it stops?
Yeah, I'll banish mine as well.
yeah, so when they're in the bag is its own separate dimension. That seems to stop whatever is affecting the familiars.
You guys want to keep them, or do we want to get rid of them?
I just didn't want to keep them.
Yeah, I'd like to keep one.
You want me to take
Okay.
out the other one and get rid of it?
I want Vera to look at it, but like,
The bag has reluctantly accepted these, much like the mind flayer, where it took a while for it to eat them down. It's taken a while to eat this down, like they did have a bad taste in its mouth, and it's making gagging sounds as you put them in there.
Sorry.
can we make an can you before you keep making an Arcana check on them to see like if they're gonna destroy anything in the bag?
Sure.
If there's nothing, you don't know if there is like
There's nothing living in
if
it.
these are like meant. Yeah, there's nothing living in the bag, so you're making that, but you don't know if these are meant to sort of have a duration and they'll run out. You don't know like the context of how long the magic affecting these cubes will last. Like they are pretty easily dispellable, so it's not a super powerful magic item. So you're not certain if they are forever enchanted, they're on a time limit, that sort of thing. But for now, you have 2 that seem to be safely contained within this bag of holding. It has reluctantly decided to swallow these 2 cubes.
Did we want to go down to just one of you?
I don't know.
Keep any.
The player's name, thinks that Omen Drawing would get a kick out of them, but like, Alien would like want to fall.
Yeah, they're. I mean, I personally feel like it could be helpful if we're suddenly like I'm
Suddenly,
kind of a hoarder myself. Our India's too are kind of a hoarder.
every low intelligence creature around you has developed rabies. Yay!
So I think it makes a little.
If we can, why does it matter? You know what I mean?
I hear you.
All right. So it looks like you might have solved Amphail's horse menace problem. Do you want to go check on any other horses to make sure?
I would love to go find a horse.
All right. So let's say you go up to now the Marthane family also has horses, so you can go up to them and ask them, or you can go to one of these noble houses, other noble houses.
We'll go to the Marthane family.
All right. You see, Brighton is, as you approach, he is soothing Soteria, who ran up and she's crying as she's telling him what happens. He's there now. And when he sees her, he sort of like hands her off to his butler and goes over to see you guys as you approach. He says, "Well, howdy y'all. I wish I could say that today has been a super great day, but due to what Miss Darrentree has recently informed me of, it seems like this is a day of mourning.
Yeah.
But what can I do for you on this,
Can I
what
see
was
your
once a
horses?
fine day?"
I would like to see your horses. I think we might have figured out the problem, but I would like to double check to make sure.
Well, that is certainly delightful news after what I have just heard. We keep the ones that are mad quarantined, hoping that they will get cured. We don't really put them down until they actually attack a person or try to, but we try to separate them before that happens. But we do have some in the back that are pretty crazy. You're not certain how the magic works exactly, Caxier.
Okay. I was about to say, but no way.
And keep in mind, he did say that this started happening a month ago, so you're not sure how everything works, but and that it progressed, got worse. But he says, I can take you back there now. And when he gets closer to the stables, he says, well, that's strange. They usually create some sort of ruckus, and during all hours of the day, and that's why we have them so far away in one of our furthest stables, because it's just braying all day and night. Some of you seem to be very well armored, but I usually am not due to my station, so I must don protective gear. Please wait but a moment. And you see him donning, the doors are locked. And you see him donning like thick leather pads and like a helmet and stuff. He goes, I am now sufficiently attired. Let us inquire about the state of our horses. And he says, now steady, okay? Just be calm.
Okay.
I'm going to unlock it now. And he pulls out a key. And he opens one of the doors. And the horse inside looks to be a super chill horse. Just munching on some hay, swishing its tail, occasionally stomp its foot. It turns to regard you as the door opens and sunlight pours in. And it goes back to munching on some hay. He says, well, I'll be.
I know the horse can't talk, but can the horse understand me right now?
Can you speak to animals?
Hypothetically, I could speak to the animal.
How would you do so?
I would cast a spell.
With a baby voice.
Common.
If you're casting message or sending, it has to understand a language you share, like one of the languages.
The question is, if I just talk to the horse normal without casting a spell, can it understand me?
Horses
Even
are
though I know I
dumb,
can't
so
respond.
probably not.
Cool, I'm casting a spell.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Ooh.
I'm casting tongues on the horse.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I've never seen this applied to a horse, but usually it's speak with animals, but sure. So the horse,
What's a cigarette?
as soon as you touch it, the horse is not speaking because it is still eating hay. It doesn't even regard
Well, it
you.
also doesn't understand a language, I don't think. I don't think horses can speak.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really. Oh my God! The cigarette's a reference to the Tower of Babylon.
So basically, it's still eating. It has not regarded you in any way.
Hey Nate, is the horse named Mr. Ed?
Yes, so I need to know.
I mean, for story purposes, we'll say this one's named as Mr. Ed. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He'll say this here is Mr. Ed. He is a fan of hay and peanut butter.
Wait, hold on. Indy, do you not know who Mr. Ed is?
Is this a Critical Role reference?
No.
Mr. Ed,
Oh my gosh, I'm so
good
old.
sir, I do not know what you mean when you say critical role, but Mr. Ed is a famous horse that
I got you.
loves peanut butter
Thank you.
and hay, and for some strange reason, people seem to think that he can talk, even though he's just a horse.
He also has the best theme song.
What are you talking about?
How do you not know what Mr. Ed is?
Because he is He is a millennial / Generation Z.
It's not very foreign, I promise. That's a good place to start.
No, we have to watch. You have to watch this right now.
Okay.
This is a session ender right now.
Okay, to be fair, I grew up watching like Adam's Family and shit, so like
No,
this is my
What
shit.
the fuck is this?
So he says, "Well, I'll be. Mr. Ed is as docile as a dormouse." And then he goes, "Hold on a second," and he goes to open up all the secluded like stables, and all the horses there are just chilling, eating hay. They give a brief look up whenever he opens the door, and then go back to eating hay.
Hold on. So it's a show from the 60s.
yes.
Yeah, but it's like a famous show from the 60s.
The only. Okay, so I know
I mean-
MASH. I know the song that plays after MASH on Me.tv.
You do know that Scooby Doo is a show from the 60s.
Oh, yeah, but that's animation. That's not live action.
You have homework and that is to watch this.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
I
If
cast
you
Tugs
haven't
into the
watched my
damn
Unplugged,
horse.
I would be-
And then yeah. What do you want the horse to? What do you want from the horse?
I want to ask if the horse is feeling better and say, I understand you can actually talk to me, but can you nod your head once for yes and then shake it for no?
So the horse does seem surprised that it can understand what you're saying, and sort of like backs away from you. But then once you like make like soothing motions, and your tone of voice is very calm and soothing as well, he sort of does the chuff. It's not really a chuff, but whatever the horses do. It's not really a neigh. It's like a chuff, and he'll nod his head.
Like a snort?
Yeah, like a snort.
I asked Brex to pull out can we pull out one of those things in front of the horse? I want to see if it affects it. It might hurt. Yeah. I think you go right back in.
I don't have it.
Or who?
I'm not gonna take it out. We know what it does.
What are you talking about?
No,
You're just
I'm
gonna
gonna
freak it
subject
out.
them. I'm not gonna
Oh,
subject
that's
them.
how Yo, by the way, the horse can all hear you guys too.
Yeah, so hey, she's crazy. Don't listen to her.
No, I just wanted to make sure it was the device and there wasn't anything else going on. Also, I tell the what's his name, Marthane dude.
My name is Brian, ma'am.
That your horse can understand you right now.
Is this that sort of magic I hear about where people can speak to animals?
Yeah.
Mr. Ed, can you understand me?
He'll nod his head for yes and then shake it for no.
He does a snort and nods it. He says, "Well, this is a miraculous day. I never thought I would be able to speak to a horse."
You can talk to her for about an hour.
Well, Mr. Ed, I have much to discuss with you.
I think we'll leave you to it. When you're done, we'll
But
be
first,
waiting.
I'm supposed to. I don't need these anymore. And he's like, shucking the leather like gauntlets he has off and stuff. I'm supposed to sign some sort of form that you all had that says you did in fact fulfill the quest to the letter.
Oh,
It,
yes. Here. And I'll get a fresh report out.
All right. Unfortunately, I do not have any pens on me at this time.
I have about 100.
Oh well, I will make use of. I only need one of them. And he pulled the lantern and stuff, and he signs
Yeah,
it.
and my business card too.
All right. He says, "Well, yes, thank you. You are. I mean, I don't know how long we've prayed for the goddesses to help us. But thank you, Acquisition Incorporated, for helping us in our time of need. If we have any other, hopefully we will not, but if we do have any other issues, we will call upon your expertise. And if you see any of them gray robe fellers, you give them a good looking for old Bright, for old Bright and the people of Amphail. You hear?
Sounds good. Well, that was a pretty easy.
We'll let you and Mr. Ed talk.
Yes. And yeah, you guys have solved the mystery of what's afflicting Amphail's horses. This was meant to be a very short one. I wanted to introduce you to Gnosis, but is there anything else you guys want to do in Amphail?
I would like to say that I feel so proud that I did that. I was like, I had prepped and read it, and I was like, I just want to cast this on a damn horse. And so I did.
I mean, if only you had your own horse you could cast this on.
You know, the horse can't actually talk to me.
I know,
And
but you
we've
can.
yet to name our horse.
You
We
have
should name
still
our
yet
horse.
to name your horse. But if there's okay, we're gonna end soonish too. But I'm trying to
We have
for
to get ideas for us.
for the name of the horse.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know. I don't have any. You guys have not given me any options to put in
What-
Twitter poll.
I'll make
What
a
color
Twitter
of the
poll.
horse is it, and what does it look like?
Can we say it's bay?
Sure, it can be a bay horse.
Okay.
So you guys make your way back. I'm assuming you're going back to Tribor or to Longsaddle through Tribor along the long road.
I need to know if it's a male or a female horse or a non-gendered horse.
It would be a male horse, I think. Seems
Why not a mare?
like it'd be a male horse.
I rolled a name generation, and I'm no kidding. The names that came up are Dylan, Onyx, Raja, Buttons, Tyson, Peanuts, Treasure, Gray, Tomahawk, and
Treasured grape.
Gray.
Okay.
Tomahawk.
Treasured grape would be a good
I
horse
like
name.
Peanut.
Now,
I like treasured grape.
Indy, you
Give me a second.
on your way back up the long road,
Yeah, I am thinking about what they said.
you have an opportunity to use a Neato cartographer ability.
Oh, you have a neat cartographer ability, don't you?
You have been to
Mhm.
Tribor before. You have been to Amphail.
Yeah.
If only there is some way of telling a story that might speed up your perception
Yeah.
of time along the long road.
Yeah, it's really too bad there's nothing that exists like that, huh?
Yeah, it's such a
Man,
shame.
you know, Acquisitions Incorporated book. I think let you do that.
Really? That's
Yeah.
fascinating. I
I
never
think it's a
realized
cartographer.
that.
But tell me a story of what happens.
Oh, please use it, Indy. Please use it.
Okay, so, what's... Oh, God. Yeah, treasure grape.
Okay.
So, we make our way back throughout... Yes, we're doing treasure grape. We're making our way back throughout... Yeah, it's very helpful.
You're headed through Red Larch, you're headed through Westbridge.
Okay. So we make our way through this kind of shitty little town called Red Larch. I mean, there's way more trees there than any town should have for whatever reason. And they just keep having to cut them down, which was kind of weird. But we sort of kept on going through there, no problems whatsoever. Went through Westbridge, we picked up some supplies, we got some more food. We had a fantastic time at this great restaurant called the Yum Yum Hut.
there was some sort of inn that had a museum of butts too. That was weird.
Yes. Yeah, we did spend some time there. There's the butts, and there's the one of what was the other one?
Well, they got married is the thing, so they had like a joint
Hey, I found the name.
venture.
What?
I'm sending it, and I'm no kidding. This was rolled on the pet horse name generator list. I'm not even.
Roll 20 or Discord?
Perkins. Oh, we might have to
Yep.
do that. That might be it.
God. Okay, I'm gonna put the poll, but I also really forgot to do the name.
Does anything else happen on your way back to Tribor?
We're talking about naming the horse, so that's part of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We discussed the name of the horse, and we come up with the name, and it's definitely Treasured Grape.
No, it's Perkins.
If only there was some way to adjudicate this, like we had, like we
I
had a,
vote for. I'm calling a vote.
like we had a.
Wait, no,
Perkins the
Treasured.
Treasured Grape. Okay.
I am calling a vote, and I get 2 votes, and I vote for Perkins.
I vote for
Wait,
Perkins
hold
Treasured
Guys,
Grape
hold on.
is his show name.
hold on. Just give me like 3 more seconds. Someone
I'm making a Twitter poll.
I
Only
made a
making
Twitter poll.
We
Go
solved
fucking
everything with Twitter
vote.
poll franchise.
All right. So when you guys do eventually, we'll have probably the horse naming selection happen outside the session, but whenever this is what I'll leave you with before we end the session. When you guys do get back to Tribor, you sort of, this bubble forms around your cart. It does take 50 gold for this to work also, Indy. So
50 gold. What?
that's what it says in Tale of Safe Travel. You guys are swimming in it though, so you're fine. So this bubble forms around your cart and envelops it, and Indy's telling this story, and all this stuff happens. You guys see this town with too many trees. You see this another town for along the wrong road that has, for some reason, a tavern devoted to butt statues, and it's weird. You pass this weird, scary forest on the western side, as well, in the Sword Mountains. And you go through this bog, and it's really gross and nasty and swampy. And then you pop out of this bubble, and this along the long road to the southern end of Tribor, and you pull in to Clinks and Drinks. And as soon as you sort of get settled and open the door back to your tavern, you see Lydia running up to you guys.
Lydia, have you met Perkins?
No, but there's something really weird going on with the forest outside. And that is where we'll end the session.
What could be happening?
Yeah, I hope Hannah feels better.